The redevelopment of the Polytrack at Hollywoodbets Greyville got underway mid-February. Contractors and machinery wasted no time in getting to work by flipping the surface. Reid, how is it that you've come to oversee this project?
Well, obviously Martin Collins Group, Polytrack is our brand and our surface that we manufacture, and obviously we installed the surface 13 years ago, and obviously we're contacted to come and have a look at it and make some recommendations about the surface and where it needs to be going forward, and we've worked with Hollywoodbets and Gold Circle to get to where we are. So obviously the Polytrack is our brand. Well, we manufacture it and produce it worldwide, so obviously you've got to come to the manufacturer if you want the track looked after right, in our opinion anyway.
What's your assessment of the track?
I've been here, looked at it, we made some recommendations, and we've come back and we're now undertaking the work. It's aged like me, you know, we all get old, and we need something to try and fix us up over the period of time. It is a 13-year-old track. We're not trying to hide from it. We're trying to give it a rejuvenation and give it some more life. It's not the first time we've worked on tracks of this age or ilk, and we've been managed to be able to get another 2 to 3 years life out of those, and then obviously we would want to work with the Hollywoodbets and Gold Circle about a plan 2 to 3 years down the track. And it's important that people understand that this is not going to be a brand new track when it's refurbished. It's an old Polytrack, it's used old technology. You know, 13 years ago everything's changed. You don't have a car without Apple CarPlay now, so we've updated our processes, and we have a new product that's a Reid gel, which gives these old surfaces a lot of energy and a lot of life.
By way of background, what's the profile of this particular Polytrack?
This cross-section of a Polytrack is a gravel drainage layer underneath it, and then it has a porous asphalt. So that porous asphalt is obviously non-trafficable, you can't drive on it, it's a bit like a honeycomb, and that acts as a buffer between the big drainage stone below and then the Polytrack surfaces on top. So the idea is obviously that water will run vertically through the profile, through the porous asphalt and into the gravel drainage layer and out through the drainage pipes.
What's the focus of this redevelopment?
So obviously what we're doing a staged approach with this. At the moment we're doing decompaction and flipping using excavators. We're going as close as we can to the honeycomb asphalt layer very slowly, and we're flipping the surface. So you will see that in the surface that we're bringing up there's multiple different colours. You'll have the brown, which is what it looks like, and then you'll have in some places you'll have a real black hydrophobic layer, which is compaction. And then even underneath it there's the original surface colour coming up as well. So we're bringing all that up. That should help with vertical drainage, and obviously we blend it all together, and then once we do that we're re-levelling the surface using laser equipment to put it back on an average as we can get it to the original height, bearing in mind some areas are low, so we've got to put material in there, and then we will put our cloth fibre in. We put a percentage of that back in, so that'll all be blended into the surface. That'll give it more stability and a bit more cushion. Then we'll let that sit in the surface for a week or two, just to climatise if you like, or condition itself to the surface. And then we'll come and spray our rejuvenation gel in it, and then we'll blend all that all the way through the profile again, and then just re-level it.
What assurances are there once the redevelopment is completed?
Always hard to give people assurances in racing, but look, we believe that the surface will be a lot better than what it is now. Obviously it's tired. We'll give it a lease of life. We'll start to have a bit more bind and have some more cushioning, if you like, from the cloth fibre. We also think it'll be more consistent as well, because we're taking it all the way to the base. We're trying to create that consistency of surface depth, which should give a consistent ride through the profile.
How much rain can a Polytrack surface absorb?
They should be able to handle extensive rain. I mean, we've had 70 mil of rain here the other night, and in areas when we came the next morning where we'd actually turned the surface, there was no surface water, but in areas where we hadn't turned the surface, there was surface water. So I think drainage is a key issue. We need to work about that. There are areas on this track where it's not from track water, but other water that flows off infrastructure, the roads, etc., which causes localised flooding. So there's things like that, and I know we work with Hollywoodbets and Gold Circle at the moment about trying to rectify those as well, to stop water running onto the track, which causes that excessive pooling of water.
What about drainage?
These things get vertical suction. The better you can get a vertical suction in them. So 1 or 2 mil of rain, you'll see a glistening of water sitting in the ripples on top of the track. People go, oh, it's wet, but the track will be safe underneath. It'll have footing, it'll be strong, it'll have surface. But when you get that vertical suction or that surface tension, the more rain, it'll actually suck it through a lot quicker. So it's one of those balancing acts, you know, just because you see a glistener in the water, we don't need to hit the panic buttons.
What about kickback on a Polytrack surface?
I have a long, extensive racing experience, so I've been on lots of different sides of the fence. I've worked as stable hands and worked all the way through road track work when I was a lot smaller, and been a stipendiary steward for 20 odd years and ran race clubs, so I understand all about kickback issue. It's a bit of a fallacy for me. You're always going to get some form of kickback no matter what surface. Our aim though is to get the kickback as low as possibly we can and reduced. So I can give you a bitumen road, you'll have no kickback, but unfortunately the trainers will take the horses home and won't get them back for 4 or 5 weeks between runs. We need to manage that expectation, I think, probably a bit better as well. But obviously the horse is going to hit, it's going to break over, and it's going to displace some form of material. We want that material to be better bound with our gel and just be lower. If it's going up over the jockey's head, I get it, that's not acceptable. We want it hitting the horse's chest is about the type of kickback that we think is acceptable.
Polytrack surfaces are used worldwide in racing.
They are used for racing purposes in New Zealand, Australia. They were used in Singapore before it recently shut down. South Africa, Turkmenistan, Turkey, the UK, France, and in America. So there's probably a few others that I've missed there as well. They're predominantly there, but for training they're used extensively as well. And I know you have one up at Summerfelt in Australia now. I think there's something like 25 Polytracks that are used extensively for training as well. And then Europe, they're extensively used for training. Back to the Middle East for 4 or 5 days for another project we're doing there. I think at the moment we've got about 8 projects globally that I've got to just tick around and keep an eye on. But I'll be back to help Laurie and Cardle and the team put that gel in and prepare it, and work with the club about how we want it prepared after we've done these works, and then hopefully put a few horses over it and then get the AOK tick and just manage that type of stuff. And then most likely I'd be back just before the first race meet as well. We've worked with the club on preparing it.
Stunning, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We with Reid Sanders.
Sanders. S-A-N, yeah.
Yes, all right, that is different to how we say it here, but I know your dialect.
You got a U though.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
If you have a U in it, it's
Saunders, so you Sanders.
Sanders.
Sanders and
KFC.
Yeah. Let me just check Reid's voice. Reid, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Nothing, coffee, black coffee. That's all you have.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this.